Hello, my people. Hello. How are you guys doing on this fabulous Wednesday night? It is February 26th, 2025. I thought I would come on here and try something different. I want to start kind of circulating myself out there and, putting out some more content in addition to like my little diaries that I put at the end of the night. I do still want to give that book review on Bozoma St. John, The Urgent Life, because my girl will be here in Atlanta on March 17th conducting one of her workshops, and I indeed plan on attending, and I would hope to have the book review up before then. God willing, mama got a schedule, so we'll see how that goes. But anywho, what I am also going to do is a review of some of my favorite television shows. Some of them will be active, some of them will be a little like back in the day, bring back some nostalgia, but all of them will be stories that and shows that resonate with me. They're fun, they're entertaining, they're intellectual, dark, they have twists to them. Anybody that knows me, you guys know I love to laugh, so I'm always going to look for some comedy in something. The one I wanted to review with you today, though, is called The White Lotus. That show is so good. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's on HBO Max. Well, Max now. It's pretty good. Let me read what they describe it as. First, I'm going to read a sentence on IMDb, and then I'm going to read the paragraph that they have here for the HBO website. So kind of combine them because I feel like the combination of the two gives you a really good description of what the show is about. All right, so starting with IMDb. A week in the life of vacationers unravels as they relax and rejuvenate in paradise. With each passing day, a darker complexity emerges in these picture perfect all-star cast. So, what that means is each season they are based in a different country, but it's each person that is a guest of this resort, which is called the White Lotus, they are complicated characters, right? They appear to, have everything together, have a perfect life, or whatever, your idealism of perfection is. But as it was saying in the description, as the episodes progress, there's some pretty dark things that happen and emerge about these characters that just makes the story a lot more captivating. So in the HBO description, it says an all-star cast head to a resort and unleash their worst, most privileged impulses. The series is a sharp social satire following the exploits of various guests and employees of the fictional White Lotus resort chain, whose stay becomes affected by their various dysfunctions. A week in the life of vacationers is unraveled as they relax and rejuvenate in paradise, which with each passing day, a darker complexity emerges in these picture-perfect travelers, the hotel's cheerful employees, and the idyllic locale itself. So to kind of recap, it's now has 3 seasons that's out. First season debuted in 2021, I believe, and that was based in Hawaii. The reason I bring that up is because there are some returning characters in this season that we first met in season 1. And then season 2, that was based in, I believe, Italy. I forget what part of Italy, but that one, that was pretty sad because one of the main characters that we all beloved, she ended up dying, but she went out kind of like a chaotic G, as I want to say, because there was a plot on her life and she ended up taking out all the people who were going to kill her. But in the end, she was married. She ended up marrying someone that she met in the first season at the White Lotus in Hawaii. And her husband actually survives. And he actually appears in season 3 to my surprise. So I was like, oh, he's in this. So going on to season 3. Season 3 is set in Thailand. And I could already tell by the characters, the way they've introduced them, that there's gonna be some some twisted stuff going on first. All right, so let me get my handy dandy notes. Hold on, let me get off the camera real quick because I got a piece of gum in my mouth, and yeah, it's hard for me to speak, so hold tight. All right, see, like clockwork, like magic, just get rid of it. And then let me take a sip because I'm going to start getting into the review and go through my notes. Okay, I hope y'all didn't hear that because there's nothing I hate worse than hearing someone bite a fork or take a sip of something. I know there's a name for that, some sort of disorder, but I don't know what it is when you don't like sounds like that. Anywho, I can go on a tangent. Let me stay focused. All right, so as I said, we're now on season 3. I'm probably going to recap 1 and 2 to maybe build an anthology for my own channel, like a playlist of some sorts, but maybe we'll see. Like I said, mama's got a schedule. But anywho, getting into the review. So the opening scene starts out with monkeys, right? That was the first thing I noticed, was the monkey in the tree, right? The monkey, there's some significance to this monkey in the tree. It's like the monkeys have eyes everywhere, so they see everything. But you know, that's just me kind of like noticing that because they deadpan on one of the monkeys in the tree. Then we go into this young man named Zion. He is sitting and meditating with Amrita, I want to say, and then shooting erupts. He hears gunshots in the middle of his meditation. Now he's trying to warn Amrita, but you know, just like a White Lotus staff, she is already programmed to kind of just stay focused on, you know, what's in front of her, pleasing the guests. They don't really deviate from the norm or the standard that they're trained to operate in. So she's acting as if she doesn't even hear the gunshots, like it, but then it intensifies. So gunshots start coming out of nowhere. It actually punctures the glass of the window that they're in meditating. So at that point, they have to get the heck out of Dodge and, you know, run for their lives. And I was like, ooh, I wonder what this is going to be like. Zion's mother. Now, she's important. Zion's mother sent him to this retreat to kind of decompress and relax. I guess he's having a stressful semester at school. Oh, hold on. Y'all, this septum ring, oh, it be moving and it has a life of its own, and it annoys me when I feel like it's crooked. But anyway, so Zion's mother has sent him to this retreat to relax, and something going on there. I don't know what it is, because as he was fleeing and he went to the water to pray to one of the statues, he prayed that nothing happened to his mother. And then his mother, when she's telling the staff, you know, that she's bringing her son out, and when she spoke to him over the phone, I could tell she has some concern, and, you know, she wanted to kind of intervene and help him. But anyway, I'll get more into his mother later because, like I said, she's got some significance from previous seasons. So they always start with the opening chaotic scene, and then they go to 1 week earlier. So that opening scene with all of the shootings, that was the chaotic scene tying the story together. But then 1 week earlier, you have the guests on the boat on their way to the White Lotus retreat. So let me start with some of the guests. Let's start with the Ratliff family. Whew. I could already tell looking at this family, man, what in the grooming and medication is going on here? Because it was a trip. So first, the dad, Timothy. He seems to be a powerful man, you know, a center of the universe type of man, provider. Not sure what he does yet, but he must have an important job in corporate America somehow. His son, oh, hold on, his wife, let me not skip over his wife, because Parker Posey plays his wife, and I love Parker Posey. She's such a good actress. Shout out to Parker. If you're a soap opera fan, you know why Parker is such a cool actress. I think she was on, was it As the World Turns back in the day? Don't quote me on that, I can't remember, but I remember seeing her in soap operas when I was little. But Victoria, she's the mother. I don't want to say she's histrionic or something, but she seems to be heavily medicated, narcissistic, checked in but checked out, focused on herself, very save me, which for Timothy, that's like the perfect woman to have, you know, because he can satisfy his hero complex and she can be saved, right? But of course, the three of them produce some children that have some issues. And let's start with the firstborn son, Saxon. Saxon is actually played by Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver's son, Patrick Schwarzenegger. He's real cute. I was looking at him, I was like, looking at his features, like, I don't see Arnold. Do I see Arnold? I see Maria, but I don't see Arnold. But anywho, Patrick is cute. But Saxon, the character, oh, he's something. Very have something to prove, frat boy, seems to be hypersexualized, and his whole thing is it's a numbers thing, right? He's there to get clearly one thing out of the visit, and that is to get laid. In fact, one of his things he says later in life is that you should, well, later in the episode when he's talking to his little brother, that you should go after everything you want in life to make yourself happy. And he names, P is one of them, and money. So what Saxon's about. No surface, just, well, no substance, but on the surface he seems to just be about, being the man, which naturally, as the firstborn son who happens to also work for his father, so I could tell his father has a tight thumb over him, and he's overcompensating for something. I have an idea of what it may be, but you never know with these characters in this show, right? So the second born is Piper. She's the daughter. She is the reason the family has actually decided to go on this retreat, because she told her father that she was going to interview a monk, when it turns out she hasn't even secured the interview. So they're just there on a whim, and they just have to be okay with that. But not much on Piper yet. I'm curious because she seems to be kind of doing her own thing. She's the middle child, as am I. So, middle children are always doing their own thing. But I wanna know what's going on with her. She strikes me as maybe the one that, let's say they leave, she would be the one in that family that may end up staying, there for peace of mind and just a new life, because their family dynamic just seems to not fit her. And then you've got the younger son, Lachlan. Lachlan seems like a sweetheart. Saxon, of course, is impressing his toxic whatever on his little brother, so the brother is impressionable, but he seems like a sweetheart that is caught in the middle between his two siblings, because there's a scene where they're kind of going back and forth on what he should do. Should he go to the monastery with Piper, or should he go to the pool with Saxon? But he definitely looked like he was like torn in the middle. And then we have this couple, the next set of guests, sorry. Didn't get the name. Didn't get the names of them. And if they were mentioned, I think I wasn't paying attention at this point. I'm sure when I review the second episode, I'll have their names by then. But they didn't really make a big splash. Like the Ratliff family, those are some characters. These two, not so much, with the exception of how uptight and like uptightly wound and stressed and intense the man seems, because he's there, seems to interview someone or get close to someone, and she's just there to kind of like have fun and appease him and make him feel good. But their banter is pretty interesting because she's British, so she has a dry sense of humor, and she's sort of comedic relief in their relationship. But their dynamic is it's interesting. Then you have the three friends. These are the next set of guests. Now, these friends are friends from high school. One of them is an actress. Her name is Jacqueline. She's actually responsible for bringing them out. She paid for them to go on the trip. She's the one that's making buku money. Then you have Kate. She married well, so she's on somewhat equal footing financially as Jacqueline, but there's some passive aggressive competitiveness going on between them, and I'll get into a later scene that kind of helped me see that. Then you have Lori. Lori is the the underdog of the friends. I hate to say that, but that's what they're painting her out to be. She actually is also the one where you have Kate and Jacqueline staying in like a nicer suite. Lori is staying in a room that's around the corner, so they've obviously made the class distinction between the three of them with Lori. She's also the one I noticed that wants to get sloshed. Like she's Laheim in the wine as soon as they get into the room. So want to know what's going on with Lori, you know. Yeah, because shout out to Lori. I could tell she's the one that's living in the real world between the three of them. Then you get into the staff now. Ugh, okay, this is where, because the staff, you know, the characters are so dynamic. The staff is dynamic as well, but sometimes depending on like how big their personalities are, they don't really stand out as much as the characters. Armand in the first season, he actually, I remember him because he was a character. He was, but you know, Armand had a interesting and big personality. Let's see. There is, oh, Fabian. Fabian is the general manager. Now, before the guests are arriving, they're on the boat, like I mentioned. He consults with, I believe she's one of the owners. And, oh, God, let me see if I can pronounce this name. I don't want to butcher it. Is it Kunsitala or Shritala? Oh, I'm so sorry. But she seems to be one of the people that's in charge. She in fact describes herself as the visionary of the wellness program in that particular franchise in Thailand. She's a former actress or singer, she mentions later. And then you have Pam, who is she's a wellness aid or a wellness guide. I don't exactly know, but she's the one that is promoting wellness. She actually mentions at one point that their resort is a digital free resort, which is good. I mean, if you're going to go to a resort and, you know, relax, you should be free of your phone. But, you know, in this day and age where digital is king and queen, it's like darn near impossible. Like you can't even breathe without the phone in your hand. Then you have, what was his name? I think it was Valentino. She called him, she meaning Kunsitala, or the owner, she called him the health mentor and said that he's highly requested because he's very handsome. Now, this was something I noticed. When she introduced him, right, it was as if she was kind of like dangling him like a carrot in front of the three friends, like, yeah, he can be bait, and, you know, he can get you to do some stuff that's compromising, and then I have evidence on you, that type of thing. But I don't know, we'll get into that. Like I said, the darkness in the description, the darkness within these characters unfolds as the episodes go on. So I want to know what's going on with Mr. Valentino. All right, so next guest, and this is relating to Zion, is Belinda. Belinda was actually in the first season. She was one of the staff members at the resort in Hawaii, and she worked one-on-one with the character I mentioned earlier that passed away. Her name was Tanya. Tanya is this rich lady, and she, you know, entertained Belinda in giving her funds because Belinda wanted to start her own business, but then Tanya ended up, you know, just kind of flaking on her, and then Belinda lost faith in her business. So, but to see her again, it's pretty good. I didn't think they would bring her back because, you know, I don't know, for some reason it just didn't cross my mind that Belinda would come back, but it's on brand for this franchise for continuity to always tie the story in to bring someone back. So Belinda and the other person I'm going to mention later are those two characters. So she's there as a part of a learning exchange. So I guess they're like cross training across resorts. So she's going to take whatever she learns from Thailand back to Hawaii. Let's see. Oh, so from there, next scene. Saxon insists. So they're picking room assignments and talking about where they're all gonna sleep. Saxon insists, now pay attention to this, that his brother sleeps in his room with him, right? Now I'm pointing this out because something happens later where I'm like, the fuck? Because who would do that? But the sister's like, well, why does it matter where he sleeps? Why wouldn't he sleep with me? And then Saxon tells her, well, because, you know, when you're older, it's not right for adult siblings to sleep in the same bed, you know, the genitals or whatever. And I'm like, he is such a tool. But Patrick is playing the heck out of that character. So Pam tells the families that they're gonna have a biometrics test sometime in the visit, and this is to set up their wellness plan. So the mom, Victoria, she's she's kind of, aloof and lorazepammed out. She's like, oh, I don't like tests. I'm jet lagged. Oh, can I not take the test? Like, so damsel in distress. And it totally went over her head, the whole purpose of the test. But that seems pretty cool. I would like to go to a resort where they do a biometrics test and scan me and tell me what I need. Tell me what I need, because I'm always trying to figure it out on my own. So, back to the siblings. So in that exchange where they're arguing, the three siblings, Piper and Saxon, over where Lachlan is gonna sleep, this is where I noticed that Lachlan seems to be torn in the middle. And I was like, all right, that's a little strange dynamic going on between the three of them. So anywho, the couple. So the couple, they have like a contentious dynamic between the two of them. Like I mentioned, like he seems very tightly wound and angry and just agitated, and the British girl is like, let's have sex, let's do some tantric later, let's get buzzed. She wants to get down on her vacation as one would, and he seems to be obsessed with this Jim Hollinger character. Now, Jim Hollinger is the husband of the owner. Now, something the owner mentioned that I forgot to mention earlier. The owner said the reason she started the wellness resort was because she had an autoimmune disease, right? And then her husband is actually sick as well, because when the boyfriend within that contentious couple asks about Jim Hollinger, he kind of like, pries and asks her, oh, I know you're married, making it seem like he doesn't know who her husband is, but he knows who her husband is. And she says, oh, either her or one of the staff members tells him that he is not there because he's sick. So he's in Bangkok instead of in Thailand. And he gets irritated because, he seemed very intentional about interviewing this Jim Hollinger or getting close to this Jim Hollinger person. And so the girl, she tells him, because he's upset that Jim's not there, that he needs to relax because they're at a spa, and that, she would have preferred to go to Australia. And then he tells her that he can't go to Australia. So I'm thinking maybe he, has some violations on his passport and can't go to Australia, whatever. I'm not going to overthink about that. But she seems to, like I said, be very eagerly accommodating to him. I'm reading my notes as I'm recapping, so sorry if I'm not looking at the camera, but she's eagerly accommodating to him, and he seems irritated because he, like I said, has a hidden agenda that he maybe is not going to be able to accomplish, but we'll see. That there's something about him being obsessed with this husband that's sick. He actually looks sick himself, and the wife saying that she started the wellness resort because she's sick. So then I'm wondering, I'm not going to say it, but we will see as the episodes progress, and then I will bring that point up, because I don't want to say something ignorant and then it turns out to not even be that. So we'll just wait until that unfolds, okay? So, the three friends, next scene with them. Lori. Lori is tucked away in her room. She seems, like I said, to be the less fortunate one. And like I mentioned earlier, Jacqueline paid. The friends, because Jacqueline paid, they insist on paying for like the services and everything else. Now, on a side note, I'm a generous person myself, so I always appreciate if my friends are willing to, pay for something, because I always tell them, look, I'm the big homie, because I'm the older one that's a little bit, not that I'm flashing, but it's just like, I feel like God, blessed me to take care of my people. So I understand, you can't leave this life with it. As long as you got all your affairs in order, when you're out with your friends, take care of your people. So I appreciated that the friends insisted on paying for the additional services. But I noticed that I'm not sure if it was them offering to pay for the additional services as a way to let them know, like, well, bitch, I got money too. You don't have to do everything. Because like I said, there seems to be some sort of like passive aggressive competitiveness between the friends. And that is, I can't wait to see what's behind that. And so I noticed in this scene too, Kate and Jacqueline were complimenting each other, but they seemed to be backhanded, right? There seemed to be some like underlying tension in the compliments, because you know how if you get a compliment from someone, you can tell if it's coming from a place of good or coming from a place of indifference or coming from a place of straight hating if someone's throwing a stray bullet or whatever wrapped in a compliment. So I was watching that like, wonder what's going on with them. So this scene, this had no significance, but Belinda's walking, right, and then this monitor lizard runs across the floor, and she's like, oh my god. I would have responded the same way. Anything crawling and slithering, running faster than me, oh, to the no. I'm out. So it was so funny to see how she responded when she saw that lizard. It was funny. Belinda and another staff member, did not get this person's name, but he's going over all of the statues and their spiritual significance and how they're tied to gods and the spirits. And he tells her particularly that they believe spirits in their religion within Thailand. They believe that spirits are everywhere, so they give offerings everywhere because they're kind of like in a random place in the jungle or within where the trees are, and they give an offering. And then I noticed when they were walking away, Belinda and the other staff member, Belinda accidentally grazes the offering, and then the staff member kind of tells her like, oh, be careful, like he's warning her, like. And then I just thought like, oh did she just initiate some bad luck by doing that? Because for him to say that, and we know the vibe behind the story, it's like, oh shit, what's about to happen? Because she did that. All right, so this next scene, this is a scene with the other staff members. They're security guards. So Mook is talking to Hollinger, so Jim Hollinger's bodyguards. And there seems to be this other guy, I think his name was Guy Talk or Guy Took. Oh, the names, I'm sorry. I'll try to get better about them. But they're talking, and he's criticizing the bodyguards of Hollinger because he seems to be a easygoing guy, the nice guy, finished last type of guy, whereas the bodyguards are they're all buff, dangerous. Mook seems to be attracted to them, and he's like comparing himself to them, to Mook, because he seems to like Mook, and he's just asking her like, well, what do you see in them? Why do you talk to them? And I do that too, and I can offer that too. And I'm just like, nah, dude, look, I get it. Don't be laying on the hate thick. If you want to swoop a girl in like that, you got to use your best asset sometimes. And hating is not a good asset. You got to turn that hate into something charming. Throw a joke at her. Bring her some food, something. But I got what he was doing. They were showing that he has affection for her, but her attention is on the boss type men. She likes men that are go-getters, because I was looking at the recap for the season overall after the end of the first episode of this season. And there's a scene between the two of them where she tells him something like, oh, they go after what they want and they're dangerous. Are you dangerous? Because he's asked to become a bodyguard later. Anywho, I'm fast forward. I didn't skip. Don't pay it. Scratch that. All right. All right. So this pool scene, Saxon, with his cute twisted self, he's swimming, and he gets out and he's looking around, and body dripping with water, looking around to basically scope out like, what's the talent here? Like, what am I hitting tonight? Because like he said, it's a numbers game, right? So he spots the British girlfriend. She is like not interested. Like he asks her, what do I have to do to get a drink around here? Trying to pick her up. And she's like, you walk up to the bar and you order it. I was like, yes. Blew his ass right off. But, Saxon wasn't stopped. So he's like, all right, on to the next. What's going on with the Cougars? He's looking at the three women and they were blowing him off. Like he's talking to them like, oh, you guys were on the boat. And they're like, yeah, we were. Continue to do their, it's so funny. But, anywho, Saxon is a straight tool, and like I said, he seems to be overcompensating for something. And then they go into a scene with Lachlan and Piper, because Piper is actually going to the monastery to interview the monks. So Lachlan thinks, but then Piper kind of, tells him he can go or whatever if he doesn't want to stay. And then Lachlan goes to the pool with Saxon. So Lachlan Lachlan goes to the pool, and then Saxon just weirdly tells Lachlan, traveling makes me horny. What? Who says that to their little brother? Your brother don't want to know if traveling makes you horny. He's not asking or curious about that out of inspiration. But I was like, what the hell is wrong with this dude? So he tells him in this scene that Saxon tells Lachlan that, scoring talent is a numbers game. That's why he's going to shoot a shot with whoever he can. And then the parents. Okay, so there's a scene between the mom and the dad. Timothy is the dad. Victoria is the mom. Victoria is napping. Tim warns her not to sleep so much because she's gonna regret, she's gonna be up later basically if she takes a nap now. And then Victoria expresses kind of disappointment in the trip. Like she's like, I wouldn't have come here. We could have gone somewhere else. I forgot where she mentioned, but they're from North Carolina, so that's where the Southern accent comes from. And man, like I said, I'm a goofball, and I just I live in the South, so no mocking of the South, but the Southern accent, like when people don't speak it naturally and they try to speak it, is just funny because it's like Southern people, like that's that draw, you can't mock it, so it's almost comedic when people mock it. But Timothy, he gets a call from someone from the Wall Street Journal, and he seems like he is knowledgeably but dismissive, as if he knows what's going on, but he doesn't want to kind of like cop to it or whatever. So he dismisses the reporter really quick and gets off the phone. Let's see. Okay, Belinda, I don't know why I put Belinda 3 months to visit. I think I already touched on her visiting for 3 months, but if I didn't, she does mention that she can stay at that resort for 3 months, which I think is pretty cool. If you got a training program and you can stay in a beautiful place for 3 months, I mean, if you don't get tired of it, Godspeed for the exchange, right? Sorry. Ooh, let me take a sip. So I just got over a cold. I quit smoking and I just ate something spicy. So the phlegm is trying to come up, which is good. But all right, so next scene, let's see. The three friends. So in this scene, they're reminiscing on a sketch they did in high school, right? I forget who mentions it, but I think it had to be either Lori or dang, what was the other one's name? Katie? It had to be the one of the two that's not the actress. They passive aggressively remind her like, oh, remember when we did that sketch and we were like one person, the three of us, and Jacqueline, of course, you were the face. And then Jacqueline's like, what does that mean? It's just the hidden jabs. Like I love how white women throw shade. That shit is funny. It should be studied sometimes. But family. So this is when everybody's at dinner. Ooh, my eyes are burning. Hold on. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. I wear vitamin C, so like after a while, because I haven't, washed my face for tonight, that vitamin C gets in your eye and it burns. So embarrassing. But anywho, so the family. they're sitting at the table, and this is where you kind of get a deeper look into the dynamic, right? So the father, again, he's master of universe, power man. He's asking all of them. Now, mind you, they're on vacation. He's asking them, so what's on your plan for this week? What are you gonna do? Um, they talk about the youngest getting into Duke, but he also suggests to him, well, if you're not going to do anything, they have something you can take on posture, since you're going to be sitting at a computer all day, you should take it. It's like, bruh, I'm on fucking vacation. I don't want to take no. So, anywho, and then let's see. Oh, Dad gets a phone call. Now, remember how Pam, the wellness person, mentioned to them that that resort is a digital free space, but she particularly mentions that it's a digital free space, especially in common areas, right? So the dinner area is a common area where he shouldn't have the phone. This fool gets a phone call and takes it in the middle of dinner. So of course he's agitating his family. The Saxon's actually looking at him like, dude, like you were just fucking impossible. And I thought that was interesting because again, Saxon is the tool, right? He's so surfaced and seems to not care about anything deeper than I'm not gonna say it, but deeper than that. And I noticed he's looking at his dad like with utter disappointment, like, oh, it's always you pushing it. So I was like, all right, there must be something going on between the two of them or something. So I don't know. So Dad, he takes the call outside. Then they pan to the couple. Um, the man in the couple. This was funny. So, of course, at resorts like this, they have healthy food, right? And he's like, "Man, I don't want to eat this. Like, what is this? Like, oh, is this like bamboo and rocks or something like that?" He said, "I don't know." It was funny. And then the girlfriend, she again, she's British, so she has dry humor. While he's complaining, with a smile on her face, she's like, "Ah, there you are. Always complaining. You're a victim of your own decisions, aren't you? Always." And I was like, that was funny. Because, I mean, that's true. It's just like a man to complain after he didn't put himself in a situation. But they're dynamic, man. So, this is where Kun Satala. Okay, Kun Satala mentions about the autoimmune disease. So when I mentioned it earlier, I had actually skipped, but I wanted to kind of tie that into the whole connection of the man in the couple, Jim Hollinger being her husband, Jim Hollinger also being sick, and then her having an autoimmune disease, and then that man seeming to be sick himself and having this obsession with interviewing. So that's why I went, ahead of it. But this is where she mentions in the episode that she has the autoimmune disease. So then, the couple. So she tells him that she wants him to help him get his joy back. He just disregards it. Now, the reporter. Okay, so the reporter calls the father again. That's the phone call that he received at the table where he had to step out. The reporter is asking about this company called Shokel, right? And he asks specifically about this man named Kenneth Nguyen. So Kenneth must have done something shady, and the dad worked with him. So I guess he was a point of contact that, the reporter had listed as someone to get in contact with if he has to ask questions about Kenny. Of course, the father is... Oh, that's my baby. Night, baby. I love you.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, she's so cute. She wants her own YouTube too, so she watches me. And, hopefully you'll be seeing my baby. I'm not going to show her to you now because she's just so cute, but she needs her own channel and you can see her, but that's my baby. Night, night, mama.
Night.
Night, Coco. That's my other baby, the dog. So, all right, anywho. So, let's see. Oh, the father. So they're talking, and the father is like, Heisman, he's like avoiding the questions. But then when he gets off the phone with the reporter, he actually calls Kenneth. So he does still talk to Kenneth, right? He's like, "Oh, do you know what's going on? I got this call. Hey, Kenny, get back to me, ends the call, is walking back into dinner, and when he's walking back, oh sorry, the man in the couple, I will have his name in the next review, I promise. The man in the couple is standing outside of the dinner, and he's smoking, and he speaks, right? He's polite to Timothy, and Timothy just walks past him like, fuck off. I'm like, oh, well, damn, why you know? So, in the scene, the man in the couple, cranky man, I'm going to call him, he's looking at Google photo images of Mr. Hollinger, and you know, he sees photos of Hollinger and his wife, and he's just looking at him like, you motherfucker, when I see you, I'm a So anywho, oh, this is where it gets juicy. This is where it gets juicy. So since Cranky Man is outside, now the girlfriend has left the dinner table and she's going to sit at the bar. Now, I forgot the lady who she met at the bar. I forgot her name, but she's they're both talking about their cranky boyfriends and how they have a lot in common because their boyfriends are you know, older, they're bald, and they just seem to be, you know, irritable and unhappy. And the girl she meets at the bar tells her that she's there with her boyfriend. They've been there for a year, right? And they live in this house on the hill. When I tell you, I was shocked to see that the boyfriend of this woman was Tanya's husband, Greg. So he's back, and there is some controversy around Greg. So I'm going to just give you a quick little recap that involves season 2. So Greg and Tanya, they met in season 1. Fast forward to season 2, they're married, and when they go to Italy, Greg is just like, you know, he's just irritated, and he's so detached and like upset about being on that trip, and he actually figures out a way to leave. Lo and behold, he was actually behind the whole plot to kill Tanya for the insurance money, because Tanya is rich. Well, she was rich, and so now obviously he's living it up, you know, off her dime, but he looks miserable. So I was like, oh, yeah, I wonder what's going to happen with Greg. So, yeah, when I saw him sitting at the table, I was like, ooh. So, okay. Fast forward to the friends. So the next scene involves the 3 friends. Now, they're all speaking about success, right? And they seem to be happy with their success, but they're complaining about how when you're successful, it's hard to determine, you know, people with hidden agendas versus people who are really, you know, there with you to be there for you versus along for the ride. They're complimenting each other, the 2 successful friends, and then they get to Lori and they're like, you know, and what you do, Lori, it's very hard, you know, the corporate world, and, you know, at least your daughter's really cool. Like, totally placating her, downplaying her accomplishments. It's like, well, you know, you got lucky because you hit the jackpot being an actress, and then you happen to marry well. Girl, I'm out here in the weeds, you know, grinding. So I was like, man, the whole dynamic, the passive aggressiveness in that group is funny. So Lori, of course, she can feel that, you know, she's getting drunk. You know, she's getting drunk the whole time. She gets buzzed, and she tells him she's going to leave and go to bed early. You know, the whole backhanded compliments didn't really make her feel good. Goes into her room, and she cries to herself. She cries to herself. And so, let's see. Oh, there was something, a quote mentioned that said, identity is a prison. I wrote that down because I was like, I guess if you box your identity in, it could be a prison, but identity is not a prison. You know, it's a beautiful, freeing thing when you're grounded in your perspective and true to your identity. But yeah, if you box yourself in, you'll be miserable in it. So I thought that was a saying that I was like, I don't know if I agree with that. So, okay, the brothers. This is the scene with the brothers. They're all going down for bed. Now, this is where I was like, so Saxon, he's talking to Lachlan about, you know, being happy in life is getting what you want in life. You know, so whether it be, you know, money, power, whatever. And then Lachlan's like, well, what do I want in life? You know, he's younger, so he's, you know, philosophically trying to figure out what makes him happy, right? So just randomly, Saxon asks again, he asks another, says something inappropriate to his brother. He asks him, what kind of porn do you like? I don't know. I wouldn't ask my, like, if I'm a young boy, I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable asking my sister, what kind of porn you like, girl? Like, at that age, like, we're not talking like that. I don't need to know what kind of porn you like. So I thought that was very intrusive of Saxon to ask his younger, underage brother that at that, because I don't even think Lachlan is over 17. He's young. So it's like, what the hell are you trying to do? Groom him? Gets worse. So not only does he ask him what kind of porn he likes, he says, well, I don't know how I'm going to jerk off in this room with you here. Patrick is playing the hell out of this role. I guess I can go in the bathroom. If he was asking him, like implying to him, like, would you be all right if I jerked off in front of you? If not, I can go in the bathroom type of thing. So of course, poor Lachlan, how do you answer that? Like, how do that's how grooming starts. You're put in a certain position. You don't know how you feel, and depending on what direction you want to go in or wherever you feel the power is, you go in that direction. And it's just odd that his brother is the one that's grooming him. So I'm like, what's going on with this family? Is the dad? What's going on with the dad? Did the dad do something to? Anywho, so Saxon gets out of the bed. Now, this is where I was like, what the heck? Butt ass naked, cheeks out. Patrick let it all hang out. They had an image, like the mirror, his thing was hanging out the mirror. He walks into the bathroom. He's setting up the porn, but then he like looks at the mirror as if he's looking at Lachlan. Like he's trying to make eyes with Lachlan. And I was like, wow, okay. I want to know what's going on. But yeah, that was disturbing. And like I said, Saxon is very hypersexualized because he makes a comment about his sister saying, it's weird because she's hot, but I don't think she's ever been laid. Why do you care about that? You see what I'm saying? So we'll see what's going on with that family. Now, the last scene with the father and the mother, they're in bed, right? And Timothy tells Victoria about how he walked when he was going back inside after taking the phone call that he bumped into the cranky guy. And he tells him, he's like, oh, he seems like he's a jerk. He's so rude. He was, rude on the boat. And I'm like, but he wasn't rude when he walked back in. Well, when you walked back in and you spoke to him or he spoke to you, he wasn't rude. That was you. So I could obviously see that when he tells his wife stories, he likes to overinflate the truth to kind of like steer the narrative and control her, which, that's what usually manipulators and narcissists do. And that family seems to be full of them. So, now just like the person that wants to be saved, of course, they gotta big up their hero. So she answers, well, maybe he's jealous of you. And that Southern voice. Parker is playing the hell out of this role too. Maybe he's jealous of you. You got a successful life, 3 beautiful kids, a beautiful wife. And then I know he was looking at her like, yeah, you all right. Yeah, but she's gassing him up, and that's their dynamic. But it has created a false sense of, identity within that family again, because I could tell that there's some stuff hidden up under the surface. Like that whole family seems to be masking something, with the mom being overly medicated, the daughter seeming like she wants to escape, the oldest son being hypersexual and something to prove, the father wanting to control everything, and yeah, did I mention the mom being like drugged up trying to escape the reality of it all? That family, the Ratliffs, I'm like, yeah, I wonder what's going on with that. And then she tells him while she's at the end gassing him up that he is a great guy. And then the camera is panning out while they're holding each other's hand, but there does not seem to be like affection. It just seems to look like they're holding hands out of a agreement that this is a partnership and nothing more. So I don't know. I'm excited about this season because, man, like, oh, get into it, y'all. White Lotus is a good show. It's a good show. So it airs on Max. I think it airs Sundays or Tuesdays. Don't quote me. I'll let you know because I'm catching up on the first and second episode. I will have the second episode recap up maybe sometime this week to continue the the flow of the recaps. I hope you enjoyed. This was my first one. Hopefully I can make them shorter. If not, YOLO. It is what it is, right? But on that note, peace and blessings, my people. You guys have a fabulous day, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.